Yo, I've been waiting 1 year for this moment. 1 year to know the mysterious love between Geto and Gojo's past, and I'ma be honest, that shit was straight nothing but strict goofball behavior from start to finish. But in a good way though. Like straight off the bat, we start the first episode with the most silliest way I've seen from any new gen anime. Before we start though, I just want to say that Gojo has been wearing the same fit for the past 10 years. And that just made me think like, do Jujutsu sorcerers even get paid? Like, if you're giving me the deal to fight invisible monsters in which they can break my bones for a living, in exchange for some bummy clothing and no payments, I'm leaving straight away, no questions asked. But hey, maybe give me Mei and a place in Jujutsu High and maybe I'll stay. Hey, chill out, it was a joke, it was a joke. So we start with none other than Gojo throwing shade at Hutahime just for laughs, and to be fair, it's kind of expected from Gojo. I mean, despite being the absolute menace that he is, we haven't forgot how silly he was acting in season 1, and then he would just turn into a whole different beast when it comes to throwing hands against anybody he's up against. In Geto's case, however, that is a whole different thing because listen, who would have thought that the man who was banned from Jujutsu High, planning to take over the Jujutsu world and literally calling people monkeys out of pride, was just another goofball, maybe like a Kirby or something. Like watching this out of context, you'd think he'd be some cheesy character that everyone loves at when he's on screen. And then we got Shoko on the side and she looks exactly like Nobara, I won't even lie to y'all. But yeah, it turns out she's part of a team with these two together and I can definitely see why she left to be a Jujutsu doctor. But hey, y'all want to see something that genuinely got me staring at my screen? Gojo playing ball with Geto. Now, this ain't no Gojo glaze, but y'all gonna need to stop playing with my boy because y'all seen that peel and then jelly layup that he just pulled off. And he's like what, 6'3"? Y'all need to register this man to the NBA because nobody told us that Gojo can hoop for real. The anime sneaked in this little extra scene to give this man Gojo any more glaze from the fans more than he already has. And Geto? He's alright. And all that. Yeah, I ain't too impressed. But hey, seriously though, I ain't nobody can guard Gojo for real. Kuroko no Basket fans, I'ma let it slide for y'all, but everyone else, y'all can go ahead and sit on the bench. Y'all can go ahead and call me a glazer, but put this man Gojo on the court, and I know for sure that he's gonna pull up some crazy shit that will get him the Hall of Fame finisher badge on 2K23. So while these two are playing ball together, they start talking about fighting curses and how regular humans can see them like they do. And in that perspective, I think it's kind of funny because let's say you're walking home after finishing your shift in the evening, right? And as you're walking home, you literally see a person punching his crap in the air whilst getting beat up at the same time. And I'm gonna be honest, if I see that, I'ma just assume you ain't take your medications and continue my way home. Because what I've realized is that Jujutsu sorcerers are literally fighting their demons head on. Like y'all see how rappers keep talking about fighting their demons? That is literally what Jujutsu Kaisen represents word for word, bar for bar. Just think about it. But right after that, Geto starts talking about how they're different from normal humans and that they should protect them and act righteously. And this man Gojo says that he's not about that life, he doesn't care one bit about humans. And I'm gonna keep it real, if Gojo did not switch up that mentality, literally all the cast would have been dead and gone in season 1. And I'm glad he did because I did not expect Geto to say something like that. And because of that, now you can see the parallels of both of them as they became the opposite of what they wanted to be. Except Geto turned racist, but let's not talk about that. Anyways, these two end up going on a mission and looking at them, they would definitely mess up, I ain't gonna lie. Look, I don't know what Jujutsu had been teaching them sorcerers, but one thing I'm sure is that they did not teach them to walk around like this. Walking like there's some Looney Tunes character or some shit. Like bro, how are you gonna be goofy when you got somebody to protect with your entire life? Which is also expected to be laid down for them. If my boss see me perform like this during my shift, I know mine is getting fired, no excuses. But hey, we're not gonna judge them because at the same time, these two are the strongest folks around, so this is probably like some everyday mission for them or something. Antagonist. An antagonist is a character, idea, concept, or institution that opposes and antagonizes the protagonist, also known as the main character. The purpose of an antagonist is to provoke the protagonist. The antagonist creates upon a conflict that the protagonist fights against. This could concern values such as justice or disagreement with the character's goal or principles. Now, where am I exactly going with this? Antagonists in Jujutsu Kaisen have shown to be quite the nefarious type in their own ways. I mean, so far, we got to witness the likes of a Cursed Lord, a racist overlord, and Kakuzi from Naruto, and in terms of laxity between each of these figures, none of them have reached the amount of laxness compared to the man himself of this season, Toji Fushiguro. Now, if you looked at me dead in the eye and asked me what I thought of Toji at first glance, I would tell you straight away that this nigga looks like he would enter a restaurant and walk behind the counter just to make fun of every single worker based on the terrible minimum wage they're working for. Toji looks like the type to bump into you out of recklessness, which causes you to drop your meal, and then when you try to complain about it, he's gonna make sure that you feel guilty about the incident by giving you a murderous stare and then going about his day. Each and every complex movement coming from this man clarifies nothing but a straight definition of pure laxity. Now, we're gonna get into this video with two exhibits, Exhibit A and Exhibit B. Now, as we go through Exhibit A, I got one way, actually two ways that could easily sum up Toji as a character, which is his design and his affection towards people in his life. Now, the reason I picked his design is because what kind of character do you know pulls up to life and death situations with pajama bottoms, sliders with no socks, and the most devious smile I have ever seen that shows nothing but straight arson that's about to be executed? No, this is not a false alarm. Y'all know how them streets be, so you best believe I am not playing when I say that it is better for you to skedaddle away like you never did before if you see any nigga coming your way with the same description as Toji. Don't say I didn't tell you. Now for the second section, affection. Now, I'm sure y'all love your parents, and if you're a parent watching this, I'm sure you love your kids. However, in the case of Toji, his levels of laxity are way too... They're so, like... Bro, let me just explain it to you. You see, at the beginning of episode 2, Toji's manager proceeds to ask him about his son Megumi, and his response, in which even the most deadbeat fathers will not reply with, he replied with, huh? Who is Megumi? Like, excuse me? Let's just break down this moment. You're telling me that you went on to marry a woman from the Fushiguro clan, had sexual intercourse with her, took care of her for 9 months, and then raised your own flesh and bones for a while before leaving for milk, and you can't even remember the name you gave him? Nah, that is not okay. Y'all gonna be messed up for real, cause hold on, he's actually genuine about these two. Like, come on, bro. This is your creation. You made that kid. And it's got to the point that his laxity is so off the roof that his brain cannot process a single thought whatsoever about his own son. But somehow, he can recall the exact moment where he first met Gojo as a kid with no issue whatsoever. Like this is crazy. Like, this is enough evidence to put this man Toji right at the round table of horrible fathers in the history of anime. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Exhibit B, and I won't even lie. Everything that I've just said before else, I'ma just sit down and atone for the gruesome speaking I've said about Toji, because Exhibit B is something else. Like, I don't think there will be any, and I mean it, anytime in Jujutsu Kaisen where Gojo Satoru's oblivious status will be topped off and violated like Toji did. Normally, in the world of fiction, antagonists are always supposed to be at loss for the sake of the protagonist's plot to keep going. However, there are times where the impossible becomes possible for the protagonist to fall at the hands of the antagonist no matter how hard they've tried, and that is known as heroic failure. Now, this implies heavily through episode 3 because as the squad is enjoying themselves with many activities throughout the day and end up going back to finish the merge with Master Tengen. No, not this Tengen, this one hidden in a tree, temple, or whatever that is. Toji comes in as soon as Gojo turns off his infinity and proceeds to stab him in the back. Now, I know y'all Gojo fans gonna be tapping up a storm, tapping up about the only reason Gojo got stabbed is because he turned off his 6 eyes, but listen, but even so, the capability of being able to catch Gojo off guard has shown to be quite the unachievable feat so far in the entire series. But not only that, we also learned that Toji doing it without any curse energy, which means he simply threw hands at that nigga. We talking about physical strength, no cheat whatsoever. Like, that's gonna be embarrassing as a Jujutsu sorcerer, I won't even lie to y'all. So Gojo and Geto send him flying with their moves, and Gojo, being the fraud he is, he heals himself back from the injury. And of course, being the ignorant king he is, proceeds to say that he'll kill Toji with no issues. Now, I want y'all to take a good look at Gojo. This man is sweating. This man is absolutely shivering. He is shitting his pants, as one would say even. We've never seen Gojo stressed this bad. Hell, we've never seen him stressed ever since season 1, so you know Toji had to be some different kind of problem for him to sweat like this. Like, I believe this is the first time ever Gojo felt genuine fear, and it happens to be a middle-aged employed man with a pad doing a quick tour for 250 bands. Like, that's crazy. It gets so embarrassing to the point that Gojo had to pull a whole 360 maximize Rasengan to try and catch him, but come on, like, we already know where this is going. And that did no damage whatsoever, because as soon as that happens, Toji sends a swarm of flies to catch Gojo like it, and oh my goodness, he did not hold back. Despite Gojo's infinity, he simply bypasses it and then goes on to stab his neck, cut his entire torso in half, stab his leg 4 times in a row, hits him with a 360 kick to drop him, and then stabs him in the head 2 times. 2 times! Wow, I don't even know what to say. Everything that I've said about Toji is getting deleted because this is not happening to me, bro. I'm good. Toji really did it. He defeated the undefeated. Toji, being the unbalanced force of nature, has accomplished what no one could have ever done since Gojo's birth. This is insane because Gojo has always been seen as this flawless divinity, and yet a man with child problems has managed to humble him in the most insane way possible. Like, he really made sure to get those stabs in. Toji definitely stays in that #1 spot of being the king of laxity. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and write an apology for judging him because I don't want to end up like Gojo, you feel me? You know, it's hard being a Gojo hater 24/7 because no matter how you see it, this man will always, and I mean always, be delusion allegations. Like, even though we know that he's alive within the current timeline of the series, beating niggas and wearing skirts, there seems to be no restrictions in Gojo being at loss for more than 10 minutes. Because the recovery on this episode is insane. Well, you can say that he recovered a little too much on this one. One might say he's off the shrooms because let's be real for a second. Ain't nobody expect Gojo's comeback to align with, I don't know, freaking psychedelics? And I know Toji was mad as hell sitting back on his feet after giving him the bloodiest spin on the block I've ever seen. Like, you know how you be fighting someone of a game and as soon as they hit the 1 HP mark, they turn the tables on you, which causes you to lose. I'm sure that's pretty much how Toji felt at that moment. He done his mission and was going home to enjoy the payment he received after brutally killing the strongest being in the series in a 14-year-old girl. Like, normally, that's pretty much it. Like, all ends that ends well, as they say. But let's be realistic, that was not gonna last. Because he sees Gojo back on his feet with a hidden face and a loose smile. Like, that should have been enough for Toji to realize he's not built for this and continue his way home because personally, voice crack. Personally, if I killed someone and they come back with nothing but straight blood stains and historical loss as if they took drugs or something, you best believe Mass is hiding in like an underground bunker because I'm not doing it. So, we go on to learn that within the time Toji turned Gojo into a bloodbath, Gojo focused on learning / mastering reversal curse technique, which ended up working, and it's like, dog, I get that you healed your wounds with the whole reversal thing, but it's like, bro, did you not see the amount of blood you just lost recently? Like, that's at least a third of his entire body's blood gone considering he got cut in half, got stabbed in your neck and in your brains, and multiple times stabbed on your leg. And to me, that is not awakening or enlightenment. That is straight off the top fraudulent behavior. Well, to be fair, it was kind of expected because, you know, it's Gojo, but being the hater I am, I'll continue to call out those fraudulent activities of his. And so, Toji gets prepared for round 2, but Gojo hits him with the curse reversal technique Red, which actually works this time because of the awakening and sends him flying. Now, if I'm being honest, I was kind of biased and was still holding into Toji because apparently he knew everything about Limitless and how exactly to counter it, so I thought, hey, maybe the current Gojo we have is like a clone, you feel me? Like, Toji actually beat Gojo and Gojo died. Yeah, I caught myself glazing, that's crazy. Like, if I'm being honest, I knew it was over for Toji for the single fight that this Gojo was floating in the air looking wasted as hell as if he took some drugs or some shit. Like, let's put the ignorance aside. This man Gojo was genuinely tweaking. Like, how can I say this? He was on cloud 9. He was in a pure state of euphoria and enlightenment. That's the best way I can describe it. And Toji looks at him for a straight second, and I'm sure that he knew at that exact moment that it was not looking good for him anytime soon. Like, bro, fuck a cursed weapon. Do you see the state of this man? Yo, I would just make clones to distract him and escape as far as I can because I'm not throwing hands with a man who nearly killed me and then started ascending into heaven out of excitement. However, for Toji, that was not the case because he kept it real and continued to charge up his attack and throw hands at Gojo. But as much as I'm in denial for this fight, we can all agree that it was pretty much one-sided. As Gojo is easily dodging Toji's moves, he starts apologizing to the Star Vessel, so I'm like, hold on. Like, did he sense her death or something? Like, I don't know, but what I do know is that this nigga stays being a fraud because why is he stealing Buddha's entire flow? Some of you may know that I made a video about Buddha like 2 weeks ago, and he's known for his famous line, "Fear heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one." Ooh, hold on, I kinda hate that shit. Not only that, but the original Buddha who existed actually said this line and aligns it with enlightenment, so I'm like, yeah, Gojo, you gonna tell us what's going on? Because I know you ain't create that quote. You're definitely not slick enough to get away with it. Now, I'm not sure if this actually happened, but for a split second, Gojo manages to pause time and summon a technique by his clan by mixing reversal red and blue together. making the famous hollow purple technique. What I'm understanding is that purple seems to be an infinite, invisible mass of the techniques merged together, so it kinda makes sense that Toji did not see that shit coming at all. It's the fact that he was more baffled to even witness the technique, as it's a rare technique that only a few in the Gojo clan knows about. And so, the get back was completed. Toji got demolished, and I'm surprised Gojo ain't give him a taste of his own medicine, considering on how Toji destroyed Gojo with last week's episode. But at the same time, I don't really wanna question it, because I feel like he wanted to end this as quick as possible and not get caught lacking for a second time. Who knows? But even so, Toji actually kept it real till the end. He didn't beg or withdraw or anything. He successfully killed the vessel and Gojo for a short time, so technically, he did complete his mission, hence why I'm still siding with him. And I might as well remove Toji from the round table of horrible fathers, knowing his last thoughts and words were about Megumi, and keeping him safe by telling Gojo to do whatever he wants with him as mutual respect. I also believe that in a way, Toji impacted the world of Jujutsu, because imagine if Gojo died or he came back but didn't awaken. The entire Jujutsu world would have been a mess, I won't even lie, but I'm right here, I can save it. I got both Limitless and 6 Eyes, they just haven't awakened yet, you feel me? Now I'm not gonna lie, but even though we know that in the main timeline that Fushiguro Geto turned out to be this individual with a felonious disposition, we knew that from the beginning something was up with him. Throughout this entire arc, Geto's character has seen nothing but disrespect from the start, and by the end of it, he was left with nothing, as the main focus was only shifted into Gojo Satoru and Toji Fushiguro. After watching this episode, I do recognize where it's coming from and what led his motive to be an official monkey hater or some shit, but at the same time, damn. You know how insane it is that you got your ass whooped so bad you got hit with an X finisher on your chest and then receive a kick on the face? Nah, that is a violation, bro. But to be kicked in the face, that your entire personality switches from being a beneficial hero of society to a cult leader with nothing but pure bitterness against the human population, in which you view them as monkeys. Yeah, I'm starting to believe this is a collective thing between anime villains. You know how certain villains just pick a certain type of animals, usually monkeys for some reason, to pin down the value of humans. And I'm not just talking about any villain, y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. But that's not what we came for. What we came for is the single fact that Geto's beatdown was able to wake him up and ponder about his choices on whether society is worth saving or not. And clearly, he was just yapping around, because he did not ponder when he was beating up the bones of Gramps a few episodes earlier. He didn't even hold back too, he gave him everything he had, so I'm that's quite the interesting fact, because he was talking hella to Grandpa Roshi over there. Now it was time to pick somebody his own size, and suddenly he wanted to be quiet and behave silly during the entire fight. That is very concerning to me. Needless to say, we get to see the aftermath of Toji's propaganda, and Gojo had officially become the strongest due to him being able to finally finesse both normal and reverse curse energy at will. Now, this changed everything for Jujutsu High, as Gojo literally took care of everything. And as for Geto, the felonious intent started to take over, and slowly, he turned into a sociopath. Not being the strongest anymore and being cast aside made him contemplate on how Gojo used him and his value towards the human society. This man was not sleeping for the single fact that Gojo got a Zenka boost and took over everything. And that's when I believe Geto realized it was the start of his downfall as a sorcerer. He went on to reminisce about the taste of curses, in which I was actually curious about. And just as I expected, they taste like nothing but straight dog poo and vomit. The way I seen it is that when he puts them in a glass bottle whatsoever, I thought he could change the taste somehow, but I guess that's not the case here, because now we know that Geto really be going through it. He's been doing this his entire life to go stronger, just for Gojo to get high and become the strongest within minutes on the brink of death. And when he came down to any type of recognition, all he got was Toji's curse pet thing, whatever that is. When you put it that way, I can kind of see why his plan to create a world with no curse energy seems to be somehow reasonable, but I still don't get the whole monkeys thing. Look at me straight in the eye and tell me that man ain't sit down and proceeded to watch how Frieza was traumatizing the Saiyan race and wrote some notes down. There's no way Geto has been human-phobic when he gobbles down curses on a daily basis. Bro, you eat your ups. That is not okay. Anyways, time goes on and we get to meet a new character, Yuki Tomoko. Tomoko is a special grade sorcerer who was trying to beat Gojo, but instead she stumbled into Geto. And so, they start talking about cursed energy and how every human has it through hatred and negative stuff, which creates cursed spirits. In conclusion, if you see me outside fighting oxygen or something, please don't question it and walk along. I'm just trying to train for that special grade title. Nevertheless, they talk about ways to erase curse energy, and there's two ways. The first one is to teach every human how to control their curse energy, and two, kill them all. Now, the scene where the humans were clapping at Rico's death was already stressing Geto, but this scene alone was enough for him to fix that fence between being good or evil, and he clearly picked evil, and to be honest, I believe his fate was already sealed. Just hear me out. Just imagine eating curses that accumulate nothing but negativity with a taste of vomit every single day of your life. Your students dying and your only relatable friend living your side as it becomes the main focus for everything. That's enough reasoning to turn the happiest nigga ever into a whole maniac with nothing but ignorance whatsoever. Like Geto, we definitely need a therapy session together. Gojo, oh yeah, you was off the shrooms like crazy. You gotta drop the troll act because you definitely got some shit to say. Shoko, I don't think you have that much of trauma, but them eye bags and the endless smoking telling me something else. So yeah, we're gonna have to have a little chat, you feel me? So then we move on and we get to see Geto fighting two girls in prison because of cursed spirits. And let me tell you something. You know how Geto does a hold back just like he did with Gramps? Well, let's say he went on to show off a little too much because what the f are you doing killing your entire village, including your parents, because of two adults yapping about the two girls? Like, I get that you're mad at humanity for causing you to gargle vomit tasting balls every day. Yo, I'm playing. Like I was saying, I understand that you're mad at humanity for causing you to gargle on curses, but putting this on an entire village with just be chilling is mind-baffling. Now, the reason he did that is because he finally got his thoughts around about being a sorcerer. Yes, you save lives on the daily, that's great, but is it really worth it? Risking your life pointlessly where you get no recognition whatsoever, and all you gain is pain and sorrow. Just think about it. So Gojo goes on to find out about the shenanigans caused by Geto, and I generally think that's the first time ever we've seen him like show deep emotions apart from him being at fraud 24/7. And to be fair, it's understandable. If my best friend turned out to be a racist, human-phobic psychopath because he got tired of eating vomit balls every day and not receiving any flowers because of his effort, I'd be mad and sad too. In fact, hold on. Yo, what's up? Alright, listen, if I turn into a racist, human-phobic psychopath who planned to kill all of humanity for peace, would you be mad and sad on how I turned out to be? Nigga say he gonna kill me. Bro, I'm not Krillin. What is he yapping about? Gojo meets up with Geto and tries to switch his mind, but he just simply shuts him off and walks away. He clearly did not want to hear all of that "please think about this, this is it you" type of speech, and I'm not gonna lie, it was needed because them type of speech be annoying as hell, no cap. And just because of that little disrespect, Gojo nearly killed him but decided to leave him alone. And I like how this was the complete opposite with Shoko, where they just casually talked and she just casually snitched on him like it was a sitcom or something. That is just inexplicably funny for some reason. Maybe that's just me, I don't know. Geto goes on to take over the religious cult that got Rico killed and starts with his plans about monkeys and cursed energy. Look at him acting all different now. Obey me, you monkeys. Got his ass whooped so bad he changed his whole perspective. Ain't that crazy? So while all of that is happening, Megumi and Gojo meet and they're just yapping about the Zenin clan and training, you know, nothing crazy. Though I have to say, Megumi is woke as hell for a first grader. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the entire arc, and it turns out that Gojo was reminiscing about all this while sleeping. Overall, this arc was pretty good. The animation budget was worth the wait, the plot, and the build-up to Geto's premise was very interesting. Seeing Geto being unsure on his feelings or whether it is impacting himself and the ones around him positively or negatively had me thinking on how our life choices can be limited at times, and there's so much we can do that causes us to lose ourselves. But we should really focus on doing what we can and not do it for ourselves but for the sake of others. This episode was definitely something we could all relate to. However, I'm just saying, Geto's acting real tough right now, but I could probably beat his ass.